Hi everyone, I'm the Unobtrusive Healer and welcome to another Pick a Pile reading. So as you can see, for this reading we actually have 9 crystals on the table here, and that's because in this reading you get to pick 3 times to build this story that is going on for the rest of your year. So we have a beginning section, a middle section and an end section, and basically if you're watching before the end of 2023, it's like we're breaking up the rest of the year into the beginning, middle and end sections. So this is like the very immediate future. This would be like the halfway point and then around and then this would be how you're going to end the year. If you're watching and it's close to the end of 2023 already, I suggest you watch for the following year. And the same thing goes for the years beyond that. If you're close to the end of the year, it's going to be probably quite difficult to jam all of these 3 sections into the rest of the year. So you may need to look at the following year instead. But by the end of your selections, we should have a little bit of a story going on. So for the first section, you need to pick from here. For the middle section, you need to pick from here. And for the final section, or the way you're going to end the year, we pick from the bottom. So I'm going to zoom in and you guys can take your time, and if it's easier you can write down 1, 2 or 3 for this row, 1, 2 or 3 for this row, and 1, 2 or 3 for this row, so you've already got them. Or at the end of each reading you can come back to this intro and pick for the next round until you have a beginning, a middle and an end. So you don't have to pick group 1 for all 3. You could pick 1, 3, 2 or 1, 3, 1 or whatever. Trust your gut, trust your instincts, and hopefully I'll be able to offer you a pretty good look at your love story for the rest of the year for when you are watching this. The other thing is, in the last section, if you are ending the year with someone, I clarify a little bit about that person and who they are. And if there's not a person that you're ending the year with, then I look at who will come beyond that. So there's still something to look at anyway for fun. But as I said, take your time, tune into your intuition to feel which stone is calling you from the top row, which stone is calling you from the middle row, and which stone is calling you from the end row. Build your story and I'll see you over in your readings. Hi everyone, welcome to the beginning part of your love story for the rest of the year. So you're here in part 1 with group 1, and this was the crystal that you've chosen for this group in this section. Hopefully the whole pick 3 times thing isn't too confusing and it's easy to grasp. But basically we're now going to have a brief look at the beginning of the rest of your year in related to your love life specifically. So if you're watching this in 2023, basically just divide the rest of the year up into beginning, middle and end. However, if you're watching close to the end of 2023, then you may need to relate this to perhaps the following year. If you're watching beyond that, of course, just relate it to the year that you're watching, or if you're too close to the end of the year, then just relate it to the next year. But without further ado, let's see what we can find out for you guys in terms of the beginning of your love story for the rest of the year. So for group 1, what does the beginning of the rest of the year look like? So the first theme that we have for the beginning of your love story for the rest of the year is number 8, positive movement forward. The next theme is the crown chakra, which is a number 7. And we have the number 12, sacrifice. Under the deck we have Triumphant Success, which we will just sort of keep here for now. So we're going to go into each of these themes and sort of break them down in a little bit more detail. I haven't used these cards in a really long time. Normally they can be a bit sticky to shuffle, but for some reason I really wanted to pull them out today. So let's see how we go. If I have to switch, I'll switch. Okay, so something's moving forward in the sort of immediate future, the next part of your story, or even maybe this part of your story, because this is the beginning, so this is very soon. And something's moving forward, so something is starting to look up, it's starting to move in a very positive direction. So I would like to find out what that is for group 1. Okay, so we have the Queen of Swords. So this could be like you making a decision and seeing things clearly, and sort of you're choosing to move your life forward. Or this could be communication with somebody else, like very honest and direct communication. That helps to move a situation forward. So we have another 8, which is the 8 of Pentacles here. And we have the 9 of Swords. All right. So the beginning of the rest of your journey for the rest of the year when it comes to love is this pile. It feels like the 9 of Swords feels like sort of a period that you're overcoming. So like a period where you've been hurting from something, you've been struggling to sleep. Like the 9 of Swords is really when you're going through it to the point where your emotions are keeping you up at night. You know, you can't sleep for more than 20 minutes at a time before you're awake and just overthinking. It's like borderline insomnia. Really tough mental state to be in. And this feels like you getting a little bit more clarity and peace of mind. Like the Queen of Swords is someone who's seeing and thinking very clearly, and they know what they want, and they're investing in their growth, self-mastery, healing, inner work, but also maybe you're also focusing on your work, your career, whatever you do with yourself in terms of like, you know, building a life for yourself. So it feels like what's creating positive movement forward is that, or maybe what the positive forward movement is more like your mindset. So there's a shift in your mindset. You're seeing more clearly, thinking more clearly, you're focused, you're driven. And there's a lot of personal growth for you on an inner level as well as in your outer world, but like on a more independent level. So in the sort of the next chapter, I'm not really seeing another person here just yet. It feels like you're very invested on your own growth and your own mindset shift, healing and things like that. And yeah, that's what your priority is, and that's what's creating this momentum and this positive movement. So next here we have the crown chakra. So this makes a lot of sense for the crown chakra to be here now that we've got this storyline, because the crown chakra to be here would be representing like a strong sense of sort of intuition, a strong connection to like a higher self or higher power, sort of seeing, thinking, maybe not so much seeing. I would associate sort of seeing more with the third eye, but this is like higher wisdom, higher knowing, very tuned in, thinking very clearly. But let's see what else we can find in relation to the crown chakra for the beginning. So we have the Queen of Wands here, literally confirming what I just said. So the Queen of Wands has a very strong intuition. She also has a very strong sense of self. And she has like a really creative yet spiritual and passionate energy. So this, I feel like, is like your kind of your growth. So the Queen of Swords and then the Queen of Wands, it's like your mind and your intuition aligning, or like your mind and your spirit even like aligning, and maybe you realize something that okay, we have the Lovers now. So definitely the first thing that I'm seeing immediately is like your connection with your higher self being very profound and very strong. But let's see what's on the other side of this Lovers card. The Five of Wands. So there is some kind of decision that you face in the beginning of the rest of your story for this year. And there's something very conflicting about it. It could be like a clash. Let me get a clarifier for this Five of Wands. Okay, so we have the Ace of Swords coming out there, which is the same card over here. So this Queen of Wands could definitely be a person. And this would be someone that you are very attracted to. And I think that there's like some sort of like knowing or feeling in your crown chakra that makes you feel like maybe you need to get to know this person, or there's some sort of deeper meaning or deeper connection to this person. And then you have like a clash between your own ego and your own higher self, where it's like, okay, but what if I end up back here again? What if it doesn't work out? And maybe when I say clashing with your ego is where we hold our fears, because your ego tries to protect you from what you've been through or from what could hurt you because of the way it's been hurt in the past. But maybe if you can overcome that challenge and that fear, it could be that there's like a really, really good opportunity for you on the other side of that, if you can tune in and trust that intuition. So this could be a fire sign, doesn't have to be. But it feels like there is someone that you're having to decide about at some point in the beginning of your love story for the rest of the year. And it's like a battle between your heart and your head, essentially, and trying to figure out which way to go there. So let's have a look now at sacrifice. Alright, so we have the Page of Pentacles coming out first. We have the Devil, okay, and we have the Two of Pentacles. So there's definitely this like weighing up of options here, and like I was just talking about with the battle between the ego and the heart, or the heart and the mind, it definitely looks like, you know, you are trying to decide, like, do I let go of my fears and sacrifice those to the divine because they're not serving me anymore? Or do I stay bound here and repeat cycles, or avoid something, or self-sabotage something out of fear? Like the Devil is sort of, it can represent like those fears that are embedded in us because of what we've been through. And I definitely can see how this imagery is like trying to offer those up to the universe or to the divine to be taken from us and surrendered, so that we can escape our patterns or our history and, you know, receive the rewards that come from doing that letting go. You know, or do I feed into them? It's like, do I offer them up and let them go? Or do I feed into the fear and keep myself trapped, unable to move past this point? So it's heavy decision making in the beginning part of your story. It feels like there's an opportunity for something very amazing to come out of this, but it's definitely an opportunity. It's not like a given. It's not a yes, it's handed to you and there's nothing you could do to miss it. This is like an opportunity that you have to be willing to take. So that's what I can see in the beginning part of the love story for the rest of your year. So now you need to go to the middle section. You may need to go back, if you haven't already picked a stone or a crystal for each of the sections, you may need to go back to the intro and now pick for the middle, and there you'll find the middle of your love story for the rest of the year. But that's all for me for this part, so I'll see you over in the next part. Bye. Hi Group 2, welcome to the beginning of your love story for the rest of the year. So this could be 2023, or this could be any time beyond that. It just depends when you're watching. It's a timeless reading. But if you are approaching the end of the year, then maybe look at the next year. But yes, we will get into Group 2 for the beginning of your love story. So by the way, just a quick close-up of your beautiful crystal. So we're going to pull a few themes and then we're going to clarify. And so we are looking at Group 2, the beginning of their love story for the rest of the year. Okay, so we have 4 foundation and achievements. I'm not going to take the ones that fell face down. I'm going to keep shuffling. So that's the first theme there. We have number 7, patience and planning. Group 2, beginning of their love story for the rest of the year. And we have a number 1, awareness. Underneath the deck we have triumphant success, number 1. And I'm laughing because Group 1 had that as well on the bottom of their deck. So interesting. We're going to clarify now each of these themes. So foundation and achievements. I mean, as the card is depicted. It's pretty obvious, that one. It's like, you know, happy home. There's a rainbow over the house. They're kind of standing there looking at what they've built and what they've achieved, and they're feeling really good about it. There is a family on this card, so some of you may already be in a relationship. You may already have a child or children, but it doesn't have to mean that. You could be single with children, or you might not have children, and this is just like, you could take the people out of the card and just leave you there looking at, you know, your success and your achievements. But let's try to elaborate on this and see. Okay, so we have the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands represents like the end of a cycle, and it's kind of one that was, you know, you had to work really hard for, or it's worn you out a little bit. It can be like exhaustion. It could have been quite a heavy load of responsibilities that you've been carrying. But it's like reaching the finish line and being able to kind of like stop and enjoy what you've been working on. So it feels like a milestone here has been reached. And the Ten of Wands is kind of telling me that, like, from this point onwards, you're not going to have to, you know, work so hard and so tirelessly. Like, things are going to start to get easier, and you're going to start getting some rewards for all of the hard work that you have been doing. So a cycle, a tough cycle's ending, and things are really looking up. We have Strength. So this would definitely be helping your energy balance out. It would definitely, bring more, more grounding into your own energy, more peace and harmony in your own energy, because it's like, you know, kind of like a breath of fresh air. Strength can also, something could be strengthening as a result. So if you're already in a connection, I'm kind of interpreting this as like, you know, you're going to have more time for each other, and therefore the relationship's going to strengthen. Or this could be like the relationship with yourself. This could be the relationship with your home. It could be a home, like you've built a home, a sturdy home. One more card here, the beginning of Group 2's love story for the rest of the year. Okay, so there's a lot of cards there that had flipped. Alright, so the Eight of Swords, it almost feels as though, you're kind of like escaping a situation that was getting very exhausting and very draining, or a cycle. I do want to say, like, if you're in a connection, I'm reading this kind of like as two people. It's like someone's having to work really hard, maybe really long hours, doesn't have much time, and then the other person's kind of like feeling a little bit anxious and worried, maybe overthinking the situation. And it's like that cycle's ending, and there's more like peace and unity coming back into the situation. But then if you're not already in a connection, I do feel like this is you kind of coming out of a very tiresome mental state. It's like your own overthinking was what was exhausting you, and more peace is entering your being as a result of some kind of achievement or milestone in your life. I'm going to look at patience and planning now. Queen of Swords, and I think, yes, Queen of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. And Judgment. So I feel like you're grounding some sort of idea or decision in the beginning of the rest of your love story. It's a big decision, it's a life-changing decision. And it feels like you're putting a lot of time, energy, and focus into this decision. This could be like it could kind of be like, say you've built a house and then moving in, or like finishing one house and moving into moving on to the next house, like building another one or planning another one, or if you've just had a child, it's like planning for another child, or it's something that takes time to do. And it's a decision between, it feels like it's between two people. If it's not love related, it could be like a friend or a family member. It could even be like finishing one lot of renovations and then starting planning for the next lot of renovations, or like, something big, something life related, and maybe even life changing, like very big decisions. Ultimately, it kind of feels like two people getting on the same page. I feel like most of the people watching this group may already be in a relationship. Let's look at awareness now. So we have the Six of Pentacles. We have the Star. Okay, so we have, funny that, we have the Devil, and then we also had the World card flip just here too. So this is definitely, finding balance, finding middle ground, healing, closing the chapter to fear-based thoughts and energies. So this definitely feels like the next part of your story is really like overcoming the doubts, overcoming the fears, putting a more difficult cycle behind you and moving into a more rewarding cycle and a cycle that brings more healing and more love into a connection. As I said, I can't guarantee that for every single one of you this is a romantic thing. It could be like a friendship related thing. But ultimately it is the start of a new cycle, and it's a more rewarding and more enjoyable cycle. And yeah, like really getting on the same page as another person. If there is something along the lines of, like finishing renovations, moving on to another, it's almost as though now that you've done this together and you've been through it before, you have this new awareness of what you both need to give to both your plans as well as each other. And this time it's like you have the tools to navigate moving forward without letting it get the better of you, and making different decisions, not just different decisions, but better decisions this time around, because you've been through it already. And it's like, we know how to handle it this time around. Because it definitely feels like this energy of like, we've just moved out of this cycle. This is really, really nice, but there's already like planning for the next thing. So, yeah. And then if this is like a friendship, I feel like this could be, like maybe you've ended a relationship, or you've ended something in your life, closing out that cycle, becoming more independent, and maybe you're planning on moving in with a friend, or you're planning on building a business with a friend, or planning on relocating with a friend. I just see like, with what you've been through, you have newfound awareness and new strategies on give and receive and making things work, and just sort of you have the wisdom that is preparing you for this next cycle, basically, in a nutshell. Yes. So that's what I have for the beginning of your love story for the rest of the year, group 2. So now, if you haven't already picked your crystal for section 2 or the middle section, go back to the intro and pick that, or if you already know which group, skip ahead to section 2 in that group, and we'll get into the next part of your love story. But other than that, thank you for watching for now, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Hi group 3, welcome to the beginning of your love story for the rest of the year. So you could be watching for 2023, or you could be watching for the following year, or any time beyond. All I will say is that if you're approaching the end of a year, then maybe use this for the next year instead of the rest of this year, because otherwise we're trying to jam pack 3 sections of a story into maybe even like a couple of weeks, and it may not be viable. But if you're here for group 3 for this section, you've chosen this one. And we are going to have a look at the beginning section of your love story for the rest of the year. So we're going to start in this deck here. Alright, so group 3, the beginning of their love story for the rest of the year, please. Let's get some theme. So we have number 8, trapped in fear. We have number 5, wisdom. number 8, power. So we've got 858 for you guys. Interesting. And then underneath we have disruption, number 16. Okay, so I feel like with disruption on the bottom of the deck, I feel like there are some disruptions going on in the beginning of this story for the rest of the year, and they are definitely at the root of these fear-based thoughts and feelings. But I can see that it's not too long before you're gaining the wisdom behind the situation and you're able to step into your power as a result of this. So it's a silver lining essentially. It's like the disruptions are causing fear and doubt, maybe some insecurity, and these energies are feeling trapped, but you do learn something and expand because of what's going on, and you're able to feel more confident and step into your true power as a result of this. So we will have a look in a little bit more detail at what's going on here. We may even clarify the bottom of the deck message for you guys. But we'll see what comes out. We may not need to, but if we do need to, I'll try and look at that in a little bit more detail to prepare you. But let's start over here with Trapped in Fear. So for group 3, the beginning of their love story for the rest of the year. Alright. Okay, so there's like overwhelm going on. There's a lot on your plate. Maybe you don't have a lot of time for the things that, you know, really make you feel like yourself. Maybe there's an injury or disease or sickness or something going on that prevents you from being able to do what you would like to do, or the things that make you feel like you, like I said. Otherwise it could be just being really overwhelmed with commitments and responsibilities, work, whatever the case. It's like everything's piling up, there's a lot going on, and you don't have much time for yourself and your basic needs, really. And I think that's what's at the root of this mindset that you're going to be in for the beginning part of this story. So at least that's nothing too, well, I mean, I don't want to say it's nothing too major, because I did mention like injuries and disease and things like that. So it depends what it is that's keeping you from feeling like your true self. But there's definitely a battle in your mind going on, because it's very difficult to stay positive and optimistic and clear-headed when it seems like, you know, something's going against you or working against you. What else can we get over here for group 3? Okay, so we have the King of Pentacles. This is the first time that I felt like I do need to really read that in reverse, because this almost feels like it could be like a controlling or domineering boss or supervisor, like someone above you who's just like piling onto your workload and making things really difficult for you. It could be someone very selfish and controlling, someone who lacks empathy, someone very materialistic. 5 of Pentacles. If this is not another person, I almost feel like maybe this could be you may be causing your own burdens by overindulging and overspending And this feels almost like a cycle. So it's like, how am I going to keep up with all of these payments? I'm freaking out over here. I'm so low on money, but I'm overspending on things that maybe don't necessarily matter. And maybe you're learning a big lesson or doing some self-discovery in relation to these spending habits. Because often our self-worth and our financial worth is very, very linked. And if we don't feel worthy, we can end up creating patterns that reflect what we feel inside us. So it's like we're creating our own reality by saying or feeling that we aren't worthy of more, and then creating that cycle of lack by spending on things that aren't important while trying to keep up with an appearance, or trying to look well put together but then struggling behind the scenes. So let's clarify wisdom. Okay, so we do have the Magician, which is like, it's kind of coming through to me as like, first of all, like self-mastery, like learning that it starts with you and your inner world and your thoughts and your feelings about yourself. And then that alignment that you achieve within yourself starts to attract more and create more. And it's like then you're manifesting the resources and the wealth that you need by learning and discovering this almost self-sabotaging pattern that you've been keeping yourself stuck in. Okay, we have the Two of Cups. If this is not related to finances, this could even be sort of overworking, like overworking and then not getting very much out of it, still being left in that state of like barely getting by. Or it could all be about self-worth and not financial worth. Maybe it's not material worth, maybe it's your true worth and not seeing your true worth, and therefore not attracting what you're really worth, just attracting what you've been, people that don't appreciate you. So it could be like self-worth rather than financial worth. Take it as it resonates. But then in this section we kind of have like a lot of wisdom and growth coming out of that. So it's almost like this doesn't feel like a relationship with somebody else to me. This feels like the relationship with yourself finally coming into balance, finally finding harmony. And it's like your higher self and your 3D self coming together and being like, I don't know, just uniting. And then we have that kind of like fusion here of these two beings. And it's like that recognition of your true worth and your true power and embracing your true self then helps you move out and beyond, move out of the previous cycles and move towards more fulfillment and more happiness, onwards and upwards type thing. So no longer settling for this life and this pattern that you keep reliving, but being able to grow beyond it and receive better, receive more. So let's clarify power now. At the moment, I feel like, this next part is all about your relationship with yourself really starting to thrive. We have the Eight of Wands and we have the Nine of Swords. So this almost feels like this is the breakthrough that brings you out of the Nine of Swords energy. Yeah, Judgment. So this is like, you know, a second chance at life almost. Not even like a second chance at life, but like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like your rebirth, your resurrection, stepping into your true power. And the universe is really going to bless you because of that. We also have Temperance on the bottom there, and then the Hermit under that. So it's like, I do feel like you're going to be spending a lot of the next part of this story, the beginning part of this story, by yourself, healing and like reconciling with your true self, you know, finding a lot of balance and harmony within you, and going through your own breakthroughs in regards to your personal or financial worth. And yeah, really growing as a person is what I can see for the beginning part of your story. So if you're disappointed that there's no one showing up in this part, don't fret. But there's a part 2 which is going to go into the middle part of your story, and we may have someone show up there, or maybe the end part of the story, because remember, this is just for 1 year, so the end doesn't actually mean the end forever. It's just the end of this part. So yeah, don't forget to check those out. Scoot back to the intro if you haven't yet chosen your crystal for group 2 and group 3, because you can choose different groups for each one, whatever you're drawn to. But yeah, I'll see you over in the middle of your love story for the rest of the year. Hello group 1, you have chosen this crystal and we are moving into the middle of your love story for the rest of the year. So basically doing the same kind of thing. We're going to start off with some themes and see what's happening next for you guys. Alright, so for group 1, we're now into the beginning. Did I just say the beginning? We're now into the middle of the love story for the rest of the year. So for those who pick group 1 for the middle of their story, here we go. So we have number 9, Material Harvest. Let's get some themes. We have number 1, Prosperity Begins. And we have number 2, Mental Conflict. Underneath the deck, we have number 9, Spiritual Strength. Okay, so we'll get some clarifiers. I'm going to go back into here again. So we're going to start with Material Harvest. Now, Material Harvest is kind of like the Nine of Pentacles, in the sense that it's kind of like getting some reward for all of your hard work and being in a position where you can enjoy what you've built for yourself, or you can enjoy, like, say, your money, or you're getting some rewards for all your hard work. You know, your savings are looking good, or you've been promoted, or something where it's like materially you're doing really well and feeling very secure. So let's see how this relates to the middle of your love story for the rest of the year. So the Material Harvest. So we have the Two of Pentacles. The Knight of Wands and the Ace of Wands. Okay. Yeah, so to me this feels like maybe you've had to juggle a lot in your life for quite some time. Like you've had to work really hard and have struggled to find like a healthy work-life balance. This feels like, to me, it's like you're getting more time to, you know, do the things that you love doing, things that bring you joy and happiness and really fuel like your passionate side. The Knight of Wands with the Ace of Wands to me is like being really driven to things that just genuinely make you feel happy or make you feel excited or bring a spark of excitement to your life type thing. So I do feel like in the middle of your love story for the rest of the year, in a material sense, you're doing really well, and you could even have like some time off around this time. So maybe you're either on like vacation, or you've just taken a couple of weeks off work or something like that. It's like you have a lot more time to do the things that you love to do. And I feel like you're having a lot of fun. You're very outgoing and spontaneous, and just, yeah, like a bit of a firecracker in the middle of this story. But I am seeing that the Knight of Wands, so first I like to do a reading like sort of for you, but I am seeing the Knight of Wands as another person. So I do see this as a person in the middle of your story, and this person is, they're exciting you. You're very interested in them. You're very attracted to them, very drawn to them. Probably don't fully know why just yet, and you're not entirely certain about them, but there's definitely some new exciting energies in the middle part of your next story. With Prosperity Begins over here, I do feel like it is like the beginning of something that does have potential, and it is something that is in the early stages of growing, or it's like the seed's been planted for growth. But we'll kind of see where it goes. So let's clarify. Oh my gosh, the Lovers. Okay. So this, wow, the Ace of Cups. This is looking very good. However, I do want to say it's like the seed is planted and there's an opportunity here, but that doesn't always mean it's a given that it's going to be taken. Like both people have to choose to go for the opportunity. I just want to get one more card for Prosperity Begins. Okay, so I'm just going to take the top one. Alright, so yeah, I definitely feel like it starts as an attraction and like an insane chemistry and desire, but it really blossoms into something more than that. So I'm not saying that you straight away get into bed with this person, but it is what draws you together, is that attraction and that desire. It's like this undeniable pull, undeniable chemistry, but then it's like when you do spend time together, I'm almost seeing like this kind of like merging of energies. It's like your energies are familiar with each other, and your energies, when you're in each other's presence, it's like your energies or your higher selves just like merge, and there's all this emotion that's kind of brought into the connection from there. And then I feel like this person does talk about how they feel and present you with an opportunity to maybe see where this goes in the middle part of your love story for the rest of the year. I'm going to clarify mental conflict. So this feels like you're the one that's a little bit conflicted. So we have Temperance and we have the Magician. So far I'm almost feeling like the reason you're conflicted is like, this is everything I wanted and everything that I've been trying to manifest for myself, and now that it's here, it's like, is this too good to be true? Like, am I nuts? Am I under a spell? Like, Am I under an illusion? Am I in the honeymoon period? I'll just get one more card. There we go. Yeah, the King of Swords. It's like you're being very analytical about it, and kind of getting in your head a little bit, because it's like, now that it's here, is this too good to be true? Like, am I really ready for this? I do feel like, although we have the mental conflict card here, I do feel like you you do make the decision to, I would say at this stage, you make the decision to pursue the connection, and you do kind of look at it from a higher perspective. And I think at the end of the day, like, the way that you feel and the emotion and the attraction and the magnetism that you feel will overpower that sort of analytical or logical side that is making you second guess things. So I do feel like you kind of make a more like spiritual decision, like you're trusting your heart and your spirit, instead of like letting your fears or your doubts get to you, and making the mature decision. Yeah, so I'm seeing like the early stages of a blossoming connection in the middle part of your story. And I'm definitely seeing a connection that is very powerful. Yeah, and it's in like that sort of like that happy new beginning stage. And during the course of this middle part of your story, I can definitely see it evolving to the point where you are conflicted and a little bit doubtful. And I think because of just how much you're feeling, you know, like it can create fears within a person, especially if you've been hurt before. But yeah, definitely a lot of desire and attraction, a lot of emotion and spiritual connection is being felt in the middle part of your story. And I just can't get over how many ones we have here. We have 1, 2, 3, the Magician 4. We have 4 ones. So that's definitely, you know, new foundations, new beginnings, new opportunities, new fresh energies, new opportunities. And I feel like that 4 is kind of representing, like on the Magician, like all 4 parts of the tarot all coming together, and it's like everything you need for a healthy relationship is all coming together, all components, all the ingredients, you know. And I feel like you can really communicate with this person as well. Like I feel like if you just talk about how you're feeling, that's going to help the situation evolve even more. But I do see you showing strength and kind of deciding like, yeah, I'm going to pursue this. I'm also seeing the imagery here, like that energy of like your higher selves sort of seeing the bigger picture, and you just deciding to just sort of trust that feeling, trust that energy, and just go with it. So yes, that's what I have for the middle part of your love story for the rest of the year. Now it's time to go to section 3, which is the end of your love story just for this year, not the total end of your love story forever. So if you haven't picked your crystal for that, just jump back to the intro. Otherwise, if you've already picked it, I'll see you over in your group. Hello, welcome to the middle part of your love story for the rest of the year. This is for group 2 for this section. So you've chosen this stone, and I'm going to get straight into the middle part of your love story for the rest of the year. Not forever, but you know. So we're going to be doing the same format. We'll pull out a few themes in the middle part of your love story, and then we'll get some clarification have the heart chakra coming out, number 4. Okay. We have number 7, triumph, and we have number 2, spiritual union. Dun dun dun. All right. We have trapped in fear at the bottom. Okay. So, all right, I can see how there would be some fear attached to what we have here, because this is like, you know, heart chakra expansions, which can be like very powerful awakenings. And we have triumph here, which is like the chariot, so it's like something very what's the word I'm looking for, something huge, a really, really big deal, something that can potentially be amazing, incredible. And we have spiritual union, so this could definitely be either like meeting someone or falling deeper in love with someone and having like this full-on awakening. And that could cause, like, either way, it could cause a little bit of fear because of, I guess, just the power of the feelings and the experience. So I'm very intrigued to get some cards out here. But it definitely looks like you are connecting to someone on a very, very deep level in the middle of your love story for the rest of this year, whenever you're watching. So let's look at the heart chakra first. All right. So we have the 7 of Wands coming out first. So yeah, this is like almost, I'm seeing this sort of like as someone really trying to like be very protective and very guarded of their heart space, and really not trying to let anyone ruin how far they've come and where they've gotten themselves to up on this hill here. And potentially like so I feel like this is almost this 9 of Cups here, like this is someone who's very comfortable and proud of where they're at. It's not the 10 of Cups, like they don't have total fulfillment, but they're super proud with where they're at and very picky about who they'll let into that space and who they'll let potentially disturb their peace and the harmony that they've created in their life. So yeah, I feel like someone is, I'm almost seeing like this is someone coming towards you in this energy, like very protective of your heart space, very guarded, very particular about who you'll let in because of the potential of disturbing your peace. And this person's like, literally the angle that this is on, this person's coming directly towards you. So let's have a look at Triumph. So this feels like you've done a lot of work, a lot of healing. You've definitely faced some of your emotional wounding, or, you know, you've done a certain level of healing to be in the 9 of Cups energy. Like you're emotionally happy and content. You're happy with where you're at and you're quite comfortable with where you're at. You know, like you know your worth, and that's why you're particular about letting people enter your space. So this is definitely, by the middle of your story, you've done a lot of work on yourself and you're in a very good place. Clarify triumph, please. Alright, so we have the Four of Swords. We have the Chariot, clarifying the Chariot. I'm definitely seeing this as someone moving towards you, this Chariot energy. And I feel like it's almost like that knight in shining armor energy. Yeah, this person is definitely willing to fight for you and to fight, I guess, to bring your walls down. We also had Justice come out. I'm not going to keep it out because it's going to ruin my spread. And it also fell face down, but I feel like this is just, you know, you're equal. This will be a very healthy, balanced partnership with great communication, honesty, and it's, you know, everything that you deserve. But what I feel like mainly here is like, you don't really expect this person to be coming in. You're just sort of chilling, doing your own thing, minding your business, and this person kind of comes out of nowhere. And I'm not seeing the Five of Wands as anything bad. I'm seeing this as representation of them wanting to fight for you, them willing to do what it takes to kind of like bring your walls down and to show you that they have basically the staying power, the commitment, and the feelings for you to persist. It's almost like the odds may be against them, but they're going to find a way. Or you might even try to like resist or fight them off, but like it's undeniable at some point. So let's have a look at this spiritual union. Because we have the Chariot twice, it could potentially be a Cancer sign, Sun, Moon or Rising. The Nine of Wands. Again, I'm kind of seeing like in the Nine of Wands, you being very skeptical or protective or like guarded, maybe even a little bit like standoffish. But then we have the Star. The Star can also be like representative of like fate as well. And to me, yeah, Four of Wands as well. It's almost like you can't push fate away, or you can't, like something this right and destined, you can't sort of keep it at bay for too long. Like there's only so long that you can deny it before it's just like, you know, yeah, it's like it's irresistible at some point. Like no matter how hard you try to push it away, no matter how much your fear gets to you, like with the Star and the Four of Wands or the 1111 card, it's like it's fated. So at some point your walls are going to come down and this spiritual union is going to happen, because it's sort of written in the stars. So I think the intensity of the connection is probably what keeps you a little bit stuck, because obviously, you know, if you've just gotten yourself into this wonderful position and you've been doing all this healing, because of maybe not so great relationships or experiences in the past, it can be very daunting to let someone in again because you're scared of regressing and going back on all the hard work that you've done. But I definitely feel like you overcome that at some point, because there's only so long that you can fight it off and go against what your soul and your heart is truly telling you. And eventually I see you deciding to sort of like lean into the experience. And I feel like it's, you know, the precipice point of like a wonderful relationship emerging. I do feel like as soon as you kind of decide to just surrender to the experience, it's quite a magical one, I would say. So yeah, overcoming a few doubts because of the intensity of the connection, but ultimately this person's going to break down your walls, and not like by force or anything. Like I mean like with actions and by showing you that you can trust them. Like they're going to be a really, really good person. Like I feel like the word chivalry is coming to mind. Like they're really going to do what they can to show you that they are reliable and dependable, and that they're truthful in how they feel for you. And yeah, eventually you'll let them in, and from there it'll be really great, I reckon. But yes, that's what I have for you for the middle section of your love story for the rest of the year that you're watching. So now you'll need to go and select your crystal if you haven't already for the end section. So either go back to the intro to select your crystal now, or if you already know it, I'll see you over in your chosen group for the end section. Hi Group 3, welcome to the middle section of your love story for the rest of the year. This is the crystal that you chose, and we are going to dive straight in to try to keep the flow going. So we're just doing the same format, getting a few themes out for the middle section of your love story, and then we'll go on into the end. So what are some of the themes in the middle section of those who chose this pile? The middle section of their love story for the rest of the year. Okay, so we have the throat chakra. We have spiritual strength. Victory and success. Underneath the deck we have wisdom, so we have 2 number 5s here. Okay, so we're going to clarify these, of course. The throat chakra can be an expression of truth, and it can represent communication. And the number 5 is making me think of like communication that leads to change or transformation, because that's what 5s represent. And because we have 2 5s, it's just making me kind of feel like the 5 on the card is important, as well as the fact that the card represents communication. So I would like to look at what this communication surrounds, and maybe who you're communicating with, or if this is like just you learning to communicate your truth more and express yourself more. Let's see what this is all about, this throat chakra. So we have the Page of Wands. So we have the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and we have the Five of Swords. Okay, so this is two people who are very similar, but who have very different styles of communication, or two people having a discussion about how they communicate. The Five of Swords can be like disagreements, it can be, you know, exchanging some harsh words even, but I feel like this is almost like two people who are trying to for a start, I feel like it's two people who maybe are in their feelings about something that's happening at that time, or this is two people who are generally like quite fiery and reactive people. And when reactive people try to healthily express their feelings or their emotions, sometimes, you know, the passion and the emotion that's running through them can create discord or some disharmony, and people can end up getting a little bit hurt. So this almost feels like two people who are maybe trying to communicate better and change the way that they communicate in order to prevent these explosions from happening, or like these it's making me think of like a volcano erupting. Like, it almost feels like you and a partner are trying to focus on better ways to communicate, and ways to communicate without hurting each other, you know, like ways to get the point across without being nasty or mean or being too harsh, but trying to find healthy ways to communicate and not let the emotions get the better of you, like in that time. So there could be a disagreement or something that happens in the middle part of your story that leads to this, but I do feel it's more like the two of you, like you're facing each other, and like even the Page of Wands is kind of looking up here, like we need to find better ways to communicate so that we don't get into these big arguments and hurt each other. Like there's better ways that we can do this. And that would make sense because with spiritual strength, like that is something that's going to expand your spiritual strength. Like it's a mature thing to work on and to recognize and to bring awareness to. So let's now clarify this spiritual strength, because it feels like you guys are trying to overcome that challenge in order to evolve. Oh, that was the Lovers that just flashed, but it didn't quite come out. Okay, so we have the Six of Wands, which is a card about victory and success, which is literally what we have here, victory and success. So I do feel like there's a happy outcome here. I do feel like you're both on the same page about what you need to work on. I feel like you're both willing to say sorry with the Page of Cups. For some of you, the reason that you could be butting heads and arguing is maybe because neither of you have just openly said how you truly feel. And maybe what helps is that someone decides to get vulnerable and be like, look, I really like you, or look, I love you, or look, I want to take this to the next level. And maybe that vulnerability and that the apology / the vulnerability, I think opens doors for more success, because maybe both of you were just afraid to say how you really feel in fear of like rejection or in fear of ruining things, but then that honest conversation leads to a lot of growth. But I can also see the Page of Cups as someone who's trying to communicate more sensitively. And yeah, with the Three of Pentacles, it's like trying to be more of a team. Like instead of it being me versus you, it's like it's us versus the problem. We're on the same side, we're not on opposing sides. And just sort of learning to communicate with more empathy, compassion, understanding, and as more of like a we instead of a you versus me type situation. So a lot of growth and a lot of expansion is happening. Let's clarify victory and success, even though I feel like we have kind of probably already spoken a bit about that. We have the Ten of Wands. So yeah, this part of this victory and success is being able to close the chapter to what's not working and what's not manageable anymore, and to create new strategies and new cycles moving forward, new ways of doing things, and bringing new fresh energy into the connection. So yeah, being able to end a tough cycle where it felt more like me versus you, or where there was like a lack of, I guess, like team, a lack of unity, like being on the same team and feeling like you're kind of like alone. Kind of the same thing with the Nine of Wands. And I'm kind of feeling like the Nine of Wands is sort of like almost like letting down some of these walls by like dropping some of that weight, or letting go of some of that baggage, or maybe like some of these things that weren't resolved, maybe they can be like let go now because they are resolved, and it's like helps you kind of let go and move forward, and just sort of drop your defenses. Then we have the Two of Cups, drop your defenses literally. So then we have the Two of Cups there, which ultimately I feel like is like you two getting on the same page, deepening the connection, and sort of like renewing the feelings, or remembering the feelings that you have for each other, and communicating with more love. So it's like you've learned what you've needed to learn here, you've put it into practice, and now you're back on the same page and you're feeling the love. Is there anything that we wish to add to wisdom? Oh, the Seven of Wands came back out again. The Fool, the Hanged Man, and the Seven of Wands. To be honest, I don't even know if these cards were meant to come out, because there's nothing coming through to me. Like, my mind's quiet, and my mind's never quiet. Like, it was literally blank. So I'll just reshuffle. Oh, there's two there. King of Wands, Ten of Swords. I almost feel like, so you know how over here you're the Page and the Knight? I almost feel like this is you guys rising into like full maturity, and then looking back at the way that you were doing things and seeing like being sort of, let me try that again, like looking back on the way that you were doing things and being like, yeah, no, that was really not working for us, that was painful and kept us really stuck. I'm glad that we put an end to that and matured and learned how to communicate properly, or learn how to get back on the same page type thing. Yes, so that's what I see for the middle of your love story for the rest of the year, group 3. So now it's time to check out the end of your love story for the rest of the year, not the end forever, not the main huge finale of your entire life, but just the end of the story for this year. So please go back to the intro to select your crystal if you need to. Otherwise, if you already chose it at the beginning when you chose your other crystals, I'll see you over in your next group. Hi group 1, welcome to the end of your love story for the rest of the year. So not the end forever, just the end for the year. You chose this crystal and we are going to get into the end of your story. So we're going to do the same thing once again, and we're going to get some themes for basically how the year is wrapping up for you in terms of your love life. And yeah, don't forget, just if it's, you know, not the best place or the best reading that comes through, it's like I said, it's not the be all end all. This is just a temporary patch. Like you could move out of that phase beyond that, because this is just basically how the year's ending for you. So don't be disheartened, but let's see what we've got for those who have chosen group 1 in the end of their love story for the rest of this year. So we have financial and material changes, and I can't deny, even though this is a right hand, we have like a ring on the ring finger. So it does kind of make me think that perhaps some of you are engaged or getting married at the end of the year, and that could be quite a big financial and material change in your life. But that could also be like, you know, moving in or moving in with someone, moving out, separating from someone, because that can be a big financial change either way, whether you're moving in or moving out. And then the material world is like the home, so you could be moving in with someone, moving out with someone. We will have to clarify. We have number 7, stand your ground. And we have new beginnings, number 0. Underneath the deck, we have victory and success. So let's go through and clarify here then. Alright, so let's clarify these financial and material changes for group 1, the end of their love story for this year. Okay. Wow, okay. So we've got Temperance, the 2 of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. So I would say that this could be like reconciling with someone, or you could definitely be like moving in with someone, and this could be like merging 2 lives into one, because we have the 2 cups kind of being poured into each other, and then they have the 2 cups that they're bringing together, and then we have the 1, so it's like 2 merges into 1. So this feels like, yeah, either like moving in with someone, getting engaged to someone, marrying someone, or it's just like your partnership is just really, the 2 of you are becoming like one person almost. It's like you're fully consumed by each other, fully in love, but there's some type of like new chapter being entered with this Ace of Cups, which is why I'm thinking like maybe you're moving in together, or you're getting engaged, getting married, merging finances. Like there's some sort of new chapter that's being begun in the end part of the year for you guys. But yeah, something's definitely changing, but it feels like it's very positive change. So like I said, like merging bank accounts, merging finances, merging families, blended families, moving in together, something along those lines. With Temperance, the Two of Cups, Ace of Cups, it feels like a very spiritual, very deep connection. I wouldn't read this to be like a light-hearted connection. It's something that's very deep and profound, and it brings you like a lot of comfort and a lot of healing. But yeah, I definitely see like some sort of new commitment being entered into. So like I said, like signing a lease, buying a home, moving in, getting engaged, getting married, deciding to try for a baby, some sort of new commitment or agreement is being entered into with the partnership. So let's clarify stand your ground. So obviously stand your ground is like standing in your power, fighting for your truth, defending what you love. So I don't know if you're going to have to defend your relationship to somebody. We have the Eight of Cups. We have the Four of Swords. Oh, jeez. And we have the Hermit that flipped over as well. Alright, so interesting. Okay. So actually now that we're further into it, what I feel like this is that the other person in this partnership is proposing something to you, like, let's have a baby, let's do this, let's do that. And I think that you're like, hold up, I need time. I need to think about this. I need to process this. This is a big step, or this is a big decision, something along those lines. And I see you taking some time and sort of retreating and wanting to just spend some time alone to really think about this and take this decision very seriously. I do see you going for it ultimately with the Ace of Wands, but I do see you needing some alone time to come to that decision. I'm even seeing, you kind of get caught up in the moment, and then you're kind of like, well, hang on a minute, I just need some time. And yeah, I do see you kind of like pulling your energy back and getting some alone time to really process this and take everything into account. But ultimately I do see you going for the opportunity. And then plus we do have the new beginnings here. But I mean, new beginnings could have meant a new beginning away from this person. But ultimately I'm feeling like, you're taking time away to process and really think things through before making a decision about what's been offered to you. I don't know, to be fair, I'm still kind of unsure. Let me not make that call just yet, that you go with the opportunity. Let me see where this goes. So let's have a look at new beginnings. Please clarify. New beginnings. So we have the World, we have the Hierophant, and we have the King of Cups. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I do believe you will take the opportunity. And I do, for a lot of you, feel like this is like engagement, because the Hierophant can represent like a priest, marrying like two people, or like marriage. higher level of commitments, and things like that. And then we have the World, which is like a completion, a happy ending type thing. And we have the King of Cups, which is like the ultimate lover, I guess you could say, like someone with a lot of love. So I do feel like, you take a leap of faith, you decide to trust what you're feeling, trust your intuition, and take that leap and just go for it. And I see you ultimately saying, yes, let's do it, to whatever this proposal is, whatever this offer or this opportunity is. Oh my God, underneath the deck was the Queen of Cups. It was a match, y'all. Oh, my heart. So ultimately I feel like you're going to lean into the way you really feel about this person, and that's, your best guide at the end of the day. I see you taking a leap of faith and it leading to like a really happy outcome. So I feel like you will definitely be ending the year on a high in terms of your love life. And that makes me really happy. Because we're in the final part, maybe I'll just pull a couple of cards for you about this person and see if we can just find a little bit about them, like personality wise, or like, who they are. So who is this person that group 1 is ending the year with in terms of their love life? Who is this person? What can you tell me about them? Not really like taking so many cards, but we'll take them. So we have the Knight of Air, the Empress, and we have Transformation. So this person, as a person, predominantly I'm feeling like they would be like the Knight of Air. They're someone quite intelligent, quite analytical and intellectual, someone who's normally maybe up in their head, but they're very sure about you. They're very determined to have a successful outcome with you. I'm even seeing this sword point directly to the Empress, and it's like they know what they want, they're committed, they're determined, and they see you as the Empress, or if it resonates, the Emperor. Like they see you in a very powerful light, they see your worth, they want to give you what you deserve, and with like realization, they know, like they just know, and they would change their whole life for you. So like it's like whatever compromise you needed them to make, they'd be willing to make it because they know what they want, they're sure of what they want, and they'll do what it takes to make sure they get that. Not just because they like to get what they want, but because they see your value and they want to cherish that value. I feel like they have a very good sense of humor. I think that they have a real caring and compassionate side to them. I think that they've probably been through a lot of change in their own life, and they have probably transformed a lot as a person, like even before they ever met you. Like I feel like this person went through a lot of change and transformation and evolution. I feel like they've lived in a few different places, or they've moved around a lot. I feel like they were raised by a single parent. And maybe that's why they're so driven to like have that forever type love, is because they don't want to recreate that scenario. But yeah. A very good communicator as well. That's what I'm getting for that person. So that's what I have for you. This is the end of your love story, and now you should have a fairly good picture of your love story for the rest of the year. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you feel like doing so. If you're interested in a private reading from me, check out my details below where I have an online store. They're emailed readings, so you can be anywhere in the world. But yeah, that's it from me. Take care, stay safe, sending love, light, and everything bright. Bye. Hello, welcome to the end of your love story for the rest of the year. This is for group 2 for this section, and you would have chosen this crystal if you're here. And we're going to go into the ending of the year. So it's not so much the end of your love story, but it's the end of your love story as the year comes to a close. So let's have a look and see. So what are the themes at the end of the year for group 2's love story, please? Group 2's love story at the end of the year. Okay, so we have number 7, deception and envy. Then we have number 1, love begins. Okay, interesting. Okay, and then we have memories of love. Number 6. Underneath the deck we have another number 7, which is triumph. Right, so looking at the cards here right now, I have no idea where this is going to go. Because we have deception and envy, then love begins, then we have memories of love, then we have triumph. So it's very kind of like up and down to me. So I don't want to, I don't want to be too quick to make any judgments here. I think I'm just going to go and clarify things one by one without saying much at all, because this could go anywhere. But let's have a look. So we're going to start by clarifying deception and envy. And see what that's about. Okay, let's try that again. Alright, so what is the deception and envy energy? Okay, so that one. Okay, King of Wands. And the Ten of Pentacles, okay. Someone's feeling mistrustful. Like if you look at both of these cards here, they're kind of similar in the sense, like they look very skeptical. Like this card says deception and envy, but this guy almost looks like he's side-eyeing someone and being like, what are you up to? Just like kind of he does as well. Like he's kind of standing there like, what are you up to? It's like there's this mistrustfulness coming through. I almost feel like you could be introducing someone to your family or something like that, because this almost feels like a family member is mistrustful of someone that you're like involved with. It could have to do with like if the person that's coming through here, if they are wealthy or if they have a wealthy family, it feels like their family may be getting in their ear and being like, what if they're just after your money? You know, planting seeds of like something along those lines. Or if you're wealthy or your family is wealthy, it could be your family suggesting that someone has the wrong intentions and they are feeling mistrustful and getting in your ear. So it's difficult to tell who's who, but that's the scenario that I'm actually picking up on here. And I'm just going to trust that intuitive feeling, is that there's like a certain family member who is feeling a type of way and projecting what they are feeling onto your relationship. And then the other way I could, no, let's go with that for now and see how this plays out. I'll talk about what I was going to talk about if I need to, but let's clarify love begins now. Okay, so we have the Three of Pentacles. What's interesting about the Three of Pentacles clarifying this card here is that here we can see that we have, like, there's a person here and a person here that are working as a team to pour into this river. So it's like teamwork, and then the Three of Pentacles is all about teamwork and collaboration. So it feels like regardless of whoever's not on board, the two of you are on board and you guys are on the same page. Yeah, the High Priestess. So like, it's almost like you guys know, and that's all that matters. So it's like you have a shared knowing of what it is, and nobody else can kind of like interfere in that. I almost am seeing this as like, yeah, I respect what you're saying, but we're going to keep moving forward anyway. You know, I appreciate you looking out for me, but we're going to keep moving this way. We're going to keep going. Let's clarify memories of love. So we have the Six of Pentacles. And then we have the Star and the Ace of Wands. So yeah, again, the Six of Pentacles is definitely about like choosing where you want to invest more of your time, energy, and, you know, resources. I'm just trying to relate it to memories of love. I do see you kind of like, I'm seeing this as you kind of like maybe letting go or distancing or detaching a little bit from these people who are not supportive, but I feel like you're kind of doing it with love. It's like you don't have to agree, but you don't support me, so like I'm letting go with love. Like that's kind of what I'm getting. So even if it's not a family member or whatever and it's a friend, this is like obviously someone that would mean a lot to you, but there's someone who is definitely kind of getting in your ear and questioning things and projecting their own insecurities onto the connection. But then you guys have this mutual agreement, you know, that you're in it, you're on the same team, you both know what you want, you know each other's deepest, darkest secrets, and you're going to continue to keep pushing, continue to keep growing. You'll leave behind people if you have to, but you'll leave them behind with love, no animosity, but you know who you want to be with and where you want to invest your time and energy. And that's what's most important to you and to your, you know, your experience in this lifetime, and, you know, to creating the future that you believe in. Under the deck we have the Queen of Cups, so yeah, like really following your heart, setting healthy boundaries where you need to, but doing so with love, and choosing each other at the end of the day. Choosing each other over what anybody else has to say. So because we have a person coming through, and because this is the ending of the year, or the end of the year, I'm going to clarify this person that you'll be ending the year with and see what I can find out about them, sort of like as a person. So I'll get possibly like 3 cards and just tell you everything I can from those 3 cards about this person. Okay, so tell me what you can about the person that group 2 is ending the year with in terms of this love story. So we have the Strength card, and it literally landed on the King of Wands, and both of these cards are Leo cards. So this could be a Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I would even go as far as to say like a Venus sign in a love reading as well. But this is definitely someone who is bold, you know, confident. Obviously not everyone's confident all the time, but obviously this is like when they're feeling good and when they're at their best. They're confident, they have a really good big heart, they don't mind being the center of attention, they're fairly good in social situations, quite a leader type energy, like I'll go first type thing. I generally know Leos to be quite competitive, so that's just something that's coming to mind there. We have the Ten of Earth. So this person's very traditional, like they want to, I don't know where you're at the moment, but they are someone that wants to settle down, get married, have children, have fur babies maybe. They could already have a dog. I'm just noticing that this person, the lion's almost like a pet, and then this person has a pet here, so they could have a dog or a cat, or a pet of any kind. But I feel like they have, you know, really strong values when it comes to like family and marriage, and like, you know, security. So they're very traditional in that sense. I think they are someone who wants to... Oh, there's already one that's... there's already one that has flipped over. I don't need to keep shuffling. They are someone who potentially wants to, you know, really create a legacy, leave the earth, leave this lifetime with a legacy left behind. I think that they want to build and generate wealth for their children to sort of grow up without having to worry. They are definitely someone who ideally would like to create, you know, a certain level of intergenerational wealth to pass down. And I think that this person is full of ideas. Maybe they don't always back them up, but I think that they are full of ideas. I think that they love to talk. I think that they can be a very inspiring person when they are at their best. I think they're willing to compromise, willing to make adjustments. And I think that they are very fun and very in tune with their inner child, and they like to be very playful and really enjoy life, not just, you know, work their life away. And if they don't already, there's someone who hopes to do what they love so that it never feels like they're working, even though they are. So yeah, that's what I can tell you about them. We do have 2 cards with hats, so maybe they're a hat wearer, they like to wear hats. If that resonates, doesn't have to resonate, that's just like a little thing that I'm throwing out there for some people. Yeah, I'm going to call it there. So that's what I can tell you about your person, and we are now at the end of your love story for the rest of this year. I hope that you've enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you feel like doing so. If you're interested in a private reading from me, check out my details in the description box. I can do readings for anyone, anywhere. They're by email, so yeah, as long as you can either read English or get it translated to English, because I'm not very good with other languages, then yeah, you can book in with me, so check that out. But yeah, that's it from me for now, so sending you love, light and everything bright. Bye. Hi group 3, welcome to what will be, I guess, how you spend the ending of this year, whichever year you're watching, in terms of your love life. So this is the final part of this reading, and yeah, we're going to get into your messages. So this is the crystal that you chose for group 3 for the way that your year is going to end. And once again, we'll go into the same format as before and get some themes and clarification. And as I did with the other 2 groups in the end section, if you're ending the year with a special person, I'll get a few clarifiers on who they are on like a personal level as well, just for fun. So give it one more shuffle. So tell me please, universe, how is group 3 ending the year in terms of their love story? Oh, sacral chakra, number 2. Crown chakra, number 7. Why are we getting all the chakra cards? Oh geez, now we've got like a million cards. Let's just reshuffle that. Just one more, please. I don't know what that voice was. It was like a robot. Jesus. All right. Transformation. Underneath the deck, we have financial and material changes. All right. Interesting. Because we're starting with 2 chakra cards, I don't fully know where this is going. And then with transformation, this feels like a very personal transformation at the moment, but I don't want to speculate because I'm going to need some more info on these chakra cards first, I think. So the sacral chakra represents our creative energy, as well as our more sensual energy. It can also sort of be where we store like our deep emotional wounds and traumas and things like that, our insecurity and our sort of our self-worth. Which is kind of why I was thinking sort of like personal transformation, but we'll clarify just to make sure. So, the sacral chakra, please. Can we clarify the sacral chakra theme? Okay, so could definitely be processing and letting go of a lot of old or deep emotional wounds. Okay, the Hanged Man. Yeah, so I feel like as the year ends, you're kind of, it feels like there's sort of like a stillness period where you're doing a lot of introspection. You're looking at your wounds from new perspectives and processing in ways where you can start to kind of like let go of some of the weight that you've been carrying because of these emotional wounds. So it's like seeing things in a new light, seeing things in new ways, gaining new understandings, and being able to let go of some of the weight that you've been carrying around with you because of those wounds. We have the Seven of Cups. I'd be interested to know what the middle of your story was, because I almost feel like you've just ended a connection. It feels like a chapter's ended and you're kind of like in this period of getting to know yourself on a more intimate level, and I guess like almost discovering your true identity beneath everything that happened to you. And not even just from the previous connection, but throughout life in general. I'm also seeing the Seven of Cups of you like figuring out what you want. So if you have recently ended a connection or you've just ended a connection, the Seven of Cups is almost like it's helping you figure out what it is that you want and need. What are your deal breakers, your non-negotiables? Where can you compromise? Where are you not willing to compromise? And like where your values are and what you need from someone. So it's like whatever you've been through is helping you figure out what you want and need in a partner. Let's go into the crown chakra. Clarify the crown chakra for how group 3 is ending the year. Interesting. So we have the Devil, we have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Page of Wands. So this is definitely breakthroughs over anything that has held you back, and then kind of like being able to see the see the world through the lens of like your inner child again, almost like being excited about what life has to offer and looking at life like the world is my oyster. Like, what can I create? What can I do? It's like before maybe that would have scared the crap out of you, and now you're like excited for what the future holds. I really seeing you like letting go of all your demons, you know, letting go of everything that's held you back, and this ends up propelling you forward. And there's just all this excitement and optimism and hope for the future. This could even represent letting go of a person. So like sometimes the devil it kind of makes me think of like sometimes when we meet someone and we get fully swept up in them and we get attached very, very quickly, and sometimes it seems like the most profound, beautiful, magical connection, and then we quickly realize that there's, you know, codependency, or things weren't quite what they seemed. Like you were seeing things through a warped lens, and then you have to break free of that because it wasn't actually healthy for you. So I definitely feel like you're coming out of a connection that wasn't healthy for you. Maybe it seemed like it was amazing and then it quickly turned codependent or unhealthy or toxic in some way. Maybe the person you dealt with was wearing a mask and you suddenly realized that they were a little bit narcissistic or controlling or something, and you had to break out of that. But it's like, it's almost like your sacral chakra. So there was like this powerful like gut feeling and this knowing that you had to get out of there, and you trusted that, and it's going to propel you forward. And then you're just kind of going through this healing process and letting things go to the point of where you're looking at the world through a new lens again. So let's look at transformation. Oh, Queen of Wands. Yes, so this is definitely you stepping into Queen of Wands energy is confident, self-assured, you know your worth, you love yourself, you're in tune with your spirituality and your intuition, but you're also grounded, and you take action on what you need to take action on. The Ace of Cups, I feel like by the end of this transformation, you will have a really open heart, and you'll have the right balance of being confident and self-assured, but also still vulnerable and open, I guess. And I almost see you kind of attracting a new opportunity. I could see the Queen of Wands being someone who is like using a combination of like the law of attraction, as well as taking the steps to be outgoing and social to create an opportunity to find real love. And look at that, yeah, so Ace of Swords, like being open, being communicative, being willing, putting yourself in those situations to create opportunities, and being confident to do so, but also working with the universe to put intentions behind what you're trying to attract. Like, you know, someone who loves me, but someone who's a great communicator, someone who can pour into me, but also someone who can make me laugh and, you know, meets me on an intellectual level as well. Like being specific about what you want in a person, and, you know, attracting that for yourself. Financial and material changes feels like it could be, you know, the changes of leaving a connection or separating from someone. Page of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. Oh, okay, some of you might, if you were living with this person, I am seeing some of you having to go back home, and I'm kind of seeing this as being like, Mum, can I come home for a while? Dad, can I come home for a while I get back on my feet, or whatever the case. I'm seeing that as one possibility, and that's like the change going on. The financial or material change is kind of moving back home or something. Just 1 second. My apologies, everyone. I just had someone to come fix something in my house, not that anybody really cares, but anyways. So I think I was just touching on how this financial and material change, it could be potentially going to like a mother or family member or something like that, to see if you can potentially like move in with them while you kind of recover from this breakup situation. That was like the first thing that I was kind of seeing. The second thing is that I could see this on a more personal level. You could be getting like a promotion or an increase in finances or salary or something like that, because I could see the Page of Pentacles like moving up, and this would be like kind of like skipping a level almost. So it's like, maybe normally you would, let's just talk about it in terms of levels. Say you're a level 2, normally you go from level 2 to level 3, maybe you go from level 2 to level 4, or you get some sort of double increase in your pay or something along those lines. I don't know, maybe you go from X position to like a supervisor or a leadership person or something along those lines. That could be a change that I could see in that sense. And I'm also even looking at as like choosing to invest in yourself, choosing to love yourself and appreciate your worth more, and having a full-on change of perspective in the way you see and view yourself and your own worth, as opposed to like material worth or financial worth. Like raising your frequency because you're raising the way that you see yourself. That's something else that I could see in that as well. And any of those scenarios could resonate here. So you'll have to apply it how it fits when the time comes, but that is what I can tell you for that part of your reading. So obviously I can't really pinpoint a person in this reading, but what we might do is, I do feel like you are attracting a new opportunity. So we could, rather than clarify the person that you're like leaving behind, maybe we can clarify the person that you are attracting as a result of all of this growth and healing and this change in the way that you see yourself. So tell me about the person that group 3 will attract beyond the end of this year. We have the 8 of Earth. So the first thing I think pick up with that is someone who's hardworking, but also someone who has like a really strong attention to detail. They notice the little things about you. Like if you were to go get your hair done, like as soon as they see you, they'd be like, oh my God, your hair looks amazing. Like they notice the small things. I think that they are, whatever they do, they're very good at it. Like there's someone who can just like, they have this natural gift that they're just basically good at anything they do. very good communicator, very strong sense of justice and what's right. Like they're the type of person that if they were to see like an injustice on TV, they would get really worked up and they would express that. They love to talk, maybe even a little bit too much sometimes. But they are a really great communicator, very honest, very loyal, very hardworking. They notice the small things. They're very good at what they do. They're a very social person. For some of you, they could be like a lawyer or like in the law system in some way, because I just feel like with their work ethic and their attention to detail, their ability to communicate very well, and their strong sense of justice, they could definitely be a lawyer. Or they just know a lot about the law, they know the law, they study the law. It's like, or even if they're not a lawyer, it's like they're very interested in that world and they kind of educate themselves on it. And just because this person's a really hard worker, I do think they're willing to compromise and make adjustments where they can to make sure that they are balancing work with the relationship with you. So that's what I can tell you about the person that you're attracting after this bit of after this transformative period in your life. So they sound like a great person. But that's the end of your reading and how you'll be ending the rest of the year in terms of your love life. Not the rest of the year, ending the year in terms of your love life. So I hope that you've enjoyed this reading today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you feel like doing so. And if you're interested in a private reading for me, check out the details in the description box below. You can book with me from anywhere in the world. They're via email. So as long as you can read English or get it translated to English, you'll be okay. But yeah, that's it from me. So sending love, light, and everything bright. Bye.